everybody, how the devil. Welcome once again to your favourite day of the week. It's the BBC Spews Day. Huzzah! With me, the very, very angry Bootneck. How can you not be constantly boiling with rage when you are forced to read the BBC so other people, you good people, don't have to do it yourselves? I tell you, it's a public service, not like a politician who calls it a public service whilst plunging into European prostitutes paid for on the taxpayer's dime. No, I mean an actual public service, whereby I am reading something less interesting than the back of the Head and Shoulders bottle and sifting through the warm diarrhea so you don't have to. Let's get to it, shall we? First things first, Megan Rapinor. What a gobshite she is. And I say this is something of a gobshite, but Megan Rapinor opens her fucking maw and it makes less sense than backwoods Welsh. Yeah, if the alphabet vomited, it would make more sense than the things Megan Rapinor says. But because the BBC don't want to ever think critically about someone that shares their political ideology, I suppose it's left down to the Bootneck, isn't it? So let's do it. Let's listen to a minute of pure bilge from a purple-haired social justice warrior who looks like she gets dressed in the dark and talks nothing but shite. And she does, doesn't she? Look at the clip of her. What is that? It's like a cross between a goth, a teenage skateboarder, me nana, and a man in a suit. It's like she just pulled items at random from the clothing bin behind the Salvation Army hostel and then threw everything on, ran through a hedge and stood behind the podium. Just lunatic. They tell you to dress nice when you go and hang out with the president. What are you doing? Have a word with your mum and dad, Megan.
I'm a member of the LGBTQ community with pink hair.
She had to tell you that straight away. First thing out the mouth, isn't it? I happen to be a leser. No one cares. Nobody cares. It's not relevant to what your personality is or what you're going to say. It's not relevant. You might think instantly saying, by the way, I proper love snogging birds, but it doesn't say anything about you. Old-fashioned liberals like me, we're from a bygone age. We don't judge people by what they happen to stick the cock in or rub the minge against. But apparently that's not the way to be nowadays. Apparently you've got to obsess about it or you're not a nice person. Okay then.
And where I come from, I could have only dreamed that I would be standing in the position I am today.
Where you come from? What? One of the richest, most pleasant, beautiful countries on earth that everybody wants to go to, where you've just had a black president for 8 years and he wasn't from old money and he had a single mother raised by her and the grandparents and basically did what doesn't happen anywhere else and went from sort of working / middle class single parent to being the leader of the free world, despite the fact he's an ethnic minority, and you and all your mates claim that if you're an ethnic minority you get routinely gassed for no reason. You mean that country where you're from? No, you could never have dreamed of doing it. No. If Oprah Winfrey can make a few bob, I think you can as well. You balmy bastard.
At the White House. I'm also a professional athlete, and I've helped along with all of my...
If you think women football players are professional athletes, you probably never watched a game. I mean, technically they might be, but they're professional sportsmen in the same way darts players are, yeah? If Jockey Wilson was a professional athlete and he used to drink 40 pints of stout before a match, then I suppose Megan can be a professional athlete as well.
My teammates virtually here today, one teammate literally here today, win 4 World Cup championships and 4 Olympic gold medals for the United States. And despite those wins, I've been devalued, I've been disrespected and dismissed.
How have you been devalued and disrespected? Disrespected because you're a woman? No. You've been disrespected because you appear to have the mathematical capacity of Diane Abbott's flip-flop. This isn't difficult. A 4-year-old can figure it out. Let me do it for you, Megan. The Men's World Cup makes billions in revenue. The Women's World Cup makes millions in revenue. The one with the B is much bigger than the one with the M. That's why you don't get paid as much. That's it. Nothing else. Nothing complicated about it. Complaining, whinging, dripping like the taps in a shitty bedsit. Dripping constantly about it is because you're a ridiculous social justice bell end and your ideology is at fucking odds with reality, but you don't care. Complaining about you getting less money than Ronaldo is like the owner of a corner shop at a fucking everything's a pound in a derelict shopping mall in Hartlepool. It's like that guy complaining that he doesn't earn as much money as the CEO of Walmart. There is a colossal bottom line difference between what you earn as a result of your activities and what he earns as a result of his. And even women, if they held the Women's World Cup final on the same day as the Men's World Cup final, you know how many people would watch the Women's World Cup final? About 8. Millie Tant, her fat, bad-tempered girlfriend, and a very small cadre, probably your dad. Maybe your dad will watch it, but on the sly, he'll be watching the Men's World Cup final on his phone. Nobody likes women's football, so you don't get paid as much. It's not because of misogyny, it's not because everybody hates you, it's not because people are mean, it's not because men are spiteful and horrible and the patriarchy. It's because the money in sport comes from the fans that watch it and the sponsors that want to get to the fans that watch it. And if nobody wants to watch your sport because it's a bit pump, you can't expect to get paid as much. Just the same as, guess what? A painter who scribbles on the street with chalk and shakes his cap for pennies doesn't expect to earn as much as Vincent van Gogh. That's why you don't earn as much money. Simples. Yes?
Because I am a woman.
Not because you're a woman.
And I've been told that I don't deserve any more than less because I am a woman.
No, you don't deserve any more because your sport's shit and nobody watches it. How many times do I have to tell you? Give your head a shake, you dippy bint.
You see, despite all the wins, I'm still paid less than men who do the same job that I do.
Because it doesn't make any money. It's like me saying, I won a blow football tournament. Why does Ronaldo get paid more than me? Nobody watched the blow football tournament. This is lunacy. Anyway, you get it. I've talked for long enough. Megan, take your head for a shit. It needs a good swilling out, yeah? Then strap yourself to your Humvee and get your girlfriend to reverse it through the car wash a few times. Because you'd seriously need a good clean out. Because you're just full of shite from top to toe. From toe to tip, you're full of shit. Right, moving on. George Floyd. Teenage witness stays up apologising for not doing more. Yeah, God, like, you know, this overly emotional generation just hits every cliche, don't they? I've often said that it's ridiculous how on the movies when, you know, you arrange to meet your girlfriend outside the cinema and then you're 5 minutes late and she gets hit by a joyrider and then the guy spends the whole movie going, I killed her. Why, God, why? Real people don't think like that. Our brains don't work that way. You might feel a little bit guilty and like, oh man, that was a bad coincidence, but it's a coincidence. Unless you filled the joyrider with smack, wobbly eggs and special brew and then gave him the keys to the car, you didn't do anything. And these overly emotional, histrionic teenagers who always want to be at the centre of emotional drama will say anything to get themselves to the centre of that emotional drama. I still apologise for not doing more. Bullshit. Who are you apologising to? Who? The dead guy. Just like family pets don't have Facebook, so you shouldn't constantly be on there going, I miss you, Charlie. They can't read. They couldn't read when they're alive. They definitely can't read when they're dead, and they don't have a Facebook profile. So fucking pack it in. This guy, he's not apologising to anyone. We know it. He knows it. I know it. It's not happening. He didn't do anything. He didn't do anything. He probably said, hey, you shouldn't be doing that, lads. You've done enough. We know this. We know this. Darnella. He said he's seen him begging for his life because they're all black. Well, listen, you're 18-year-old son. When you grow up, you probably have a sensible worldview. Yeah, when you're 38, you'll probably look back when you were 18 and go, fucking hell, I was off my tits when I was 18. Welcome to the club, son. Welcome to the club. We all think we're clever dicks when we're 18, and when we get to 38, we go, turns out I was full of shit after all. It's fine, it's normal, I'm not holding it against you. But please stop being an emotional, weepy, sentimental wreck. I don't care. I don't care. As for the case itself, this whole thing's been a sham. If you've been following it closely, they had some EMT up who was just another shrieking, histrionic girl, whiny, whinging, got pulled to bits by the court. The judge had a life. The judge had a life. The fact of the matter is, the state has combed the streets looking for anyone who's willing to get up and say, oh my God, it was a horrific murder. It was a murder. It wasn't a murder. I'm calling it now. He's going to get away. The worst he'll get is manslaughter. He'll probably walk. He was doing what he was trained to do. George Floyd was talking about how he was struggling to breathe before any of them even touched him. That is a big important point. And 3, the coup de grace. His system was full of drugs. I think fentanyl was the worst, and he had enough to constitute a lethal dose by itself, let alone all the other shit in there. So he's done. They didn't murder him. His bad choices killed him. And the state, if they had any integrity at all, would have leaked this information to the press and told everyone about it. He did not get murdered. Possible, very, very stretchy argument, possible manslaughter, but that's it. So I don't have an opinion either way on that. I always agree with letting the courts run their course. Let the court, we live in a democracy that is supposed to have rules, a rules-based order. I keep saying this, we need the police to always prosecute the law equally and fairly for everyone. Lady Justice is supposed to wear a blindfold, not a Black Lives Matter hoodie, not a MAGA hat. She's supposed to be blind. So let the justice system run its course. But I am telling you, he's going to walk. There is no way anyone who has even a modicum of an understanding of the legal process, and I'm not claiming to be a lawyer, I'm just telling you what I would be saying if I was in the jury. And if I was in the jury, I would be saying, are you taking the piss? That's what I'd be saying. So, seriously, there is no fucking way they're going to convict him. No way. You heard it here first. If I'm wrong, feel free to come back, rub this in my face, and call me a twat a few months down the line. But I'm calling it now. He's walking. See ya, and then a couple of $1 billion worth of property damage in the case of fairness and equality and justice. Yeah, whatever. You keep telling yourself that, lads. You keep telling that when you're kicking old women in the face outside hotels, burning shops down, beating up women who are trying to protect their livelihoods. You keep telling yourselves that, lads. Keep telling yourselves you're the good guys while I sit at home and cackle. Like this. That was cackling, wasn't it? Here's a good one. Oxborough Hall. Queen Victoria's Boer War chocolate found in the attic. Thought I'd put something nice in for a change instead of just whinging all the time. This is a cool story, look. Look at that. Bar of chocolate that's even older than the stuff the British military gives you in your ration packs. When I was in, it was Duncan's of Scotland, and let me tell you, I think I'd rather eat that fucker than what I got from Mr. Duncan. Rum and raisin. It tasted like licking Blackbeard the pirate's ball sack when you ate a rum and raisin from Duncan's of Scotland. It says a 121-year-old chocolate bar that was given to British troops to boost morale has been discovered in the attic of a National Trust property. The chocolate, still in its original wrapper and tin, was part of a batch commissioned by Queen Victoria in 1900. It's found in a helmet case at Oxborough Hall in Norfolk. The chocolate, which belonged to the 8th Baronet Henry Edward Paston Bedingfield. How posh is his name? How posh is that name? Probably no relation to Daniel Bedingfield. Henry Edward Paston Bedingfield. He just sounds posh. Yeah, my ancestors might have got one. I've got loads of military ancestors, but they'll have been fucking riddled with scurvy and rickets and probably haven't eaten a meal for a month. So the second they got that, the sweaty palms on that chocolate, it went straight down, swallowed it whole like a bar of soap. Ugh, done. That's what you get when you come from peasant stock, Mr. Pottersby Paston Bedingfield. The box is cool, though, isn't it? Look at that. Cool family memorabilia, that. And it does annoy me because you read it, it says they've been cataloguing the belongings of his daughter who died last year, age 100. So the moral of the story here, ladies and gentlemen, is get rid of your shit. Because all the stuff you value, keep it as a keepsake, ends up in a fucking wheelie bin when the little bastard children take over. So, or even if they're not selfish and they keep it for themselves, then it ends up in the bin when the grandkids take over. So if you've got any keepsakes that are worth any money, get them weighed in, boys and girls. Cash it in and spend the money on fun stuff while you're still breathing. It said she got Fry, Cadbury and Rowntree produce 100,000 tins, each containing a half-pound of chocolate, and their pacifist Quakers opposed the war, so they refused to accept payment for the order. She sent them out saying, I wish you a happy new year. Isn't that good? What a nice story. Still better than Duncan's or a Hershey bar as well. Have you ever had a Hershey bar? If you get a Hershey bar, drop it on the floor in the shower, kick it around in the suds and the pubes and then eat it. That's a Hershey bar. Not very good. I will take the 100-year-old chocolate bar from Queen Vic. Thanks very much. This one I had to include because it seems almost fair, which is a miracle for the BBC, isn't it? How the tampon tax, hedgerows and sanctions have changed since Brexit. This is, it looks factually accurate. I was fucking amazed. I was like, what? More confused than Boy George when he woke up from a 4-day bender and found a male prostitute strapped to the radiator. Where the fuck did he come from? More confused than that. This is nuts. It's actually fair and reasonable, so let's read it. The full impact of the UK's departure from the EU will take years to materialise, but the government has already presented some quick wins. I've took a look at 5 examples given by ministers in speeches, statements or on social media since the end of the transition period. The tampon tax. A cut in VAT for tampons and sanitary products was the first Brexit dividend, announced by the Chancellor on 1st of January. Fair enough, there was a cut indeed in VAT for tampons. Seems fair and balanced, that little tidbit there, Mr. BBC. Well done, Auntie. Well done. Occasionally, you senile old goat, you get it right, don't you? Says the EU has a proposal that allows member states to do this. Fair enough. It was intended to take effect in 2022, but has been held up in negotiations. Officials in Brussels say the UK may not have faced legal action if it had cut the tax. May not. Yeah, may not. Yeah, I'll believe that when I'm seeing it. Seems like they want to sue us more than a trigger-happy lawyer in California. If they say may not, that means you fucking would have done. Right? May not. I may not hate the BBC by the end of this fucking read. Probably will though. Points-based immigration. The UK's new points-based immigration also came into force. It will inevitably meet one of the key aims of the Leave campaign to control the number of European nationals who can settle in the UK. Huzzah! So working class people from our own council estates will actually have a chance for a change instead of competing against 70 Hungarian, Romanian, any other Eastern Europeans that have got no money. Fully understand why they would come, but let's be honest, it sort of stitches people like me up if for every job that comes up we've got 50 Eastern Europeans competing for it. Doesn't it? They're not taking Guardian readers' jobs, they're not taking BBC readers' jobs. They're not all moving over here because they've got physics degrees. Most of the people with physics degrees go and work in high society, don't they? They all end up on the payroll of massive corporations. The biggest damage of EU membership was done to working class communities. Finally, we can exert at least a little bit of control. Sanctions. The UK now has its own sanctions regime. In March, the UK and EU announced sanctions on a group of Chinese officials. The Foreign Secretary said there might not be that much difference between the UK and the EU in future. Might. Again, there always might. There will be. It's good to be in charge of your own foreign policy, is it not? Tax on whisky exports. Massive win, this one. Oh, the United States agreed to cut the taxes which had been slapped on imports of scotch. Yes, they did. Well done. It says, the next day the EU received the same treatment. Oh yes, but would they have got that treatment if the British weren't leading the way? Probably not. Sources close to the International Trade Secretary Liz Truss say that Brexit meant she could drop the UK's tariffs on the US to encourage them to come to the table. They said it is surely no coincidence that the 16-year dispute ended just weeks after the UK took control of its trade policy. 16-year dispute ended just weeks after. I wonder why. Hedgerows. We want to reward the work farmers do to manage every metre of hedgerows on their holdings sustainably. He said farmers previously could not apply for money to help protect hedgerows because they were dubbed ineligible failures by the EU's Common Agricultural Policy. Oh look, the National Farmers Union, probably a bunch of lefty arseholes, say that's strictly not true. Anything with union in the word, I don't trust the bastards. They said it's not strictly accurate. Okay, not strictly, but it is accurate then. Yeah, it is. Yeah, okay. Let's move on then, shall we? Quick wins! The UK is still very early in its post-Brexit journey, and as usual, nothing in this debate is quite as simple as it first appears. No, it's good. We were right, and you were wrong, Auntie. Auntie, you senile old goat, go back into the cellar and finish your wine and go to sleep for another fucking 12 hours, because you are no use to anyone when you're up and about, being weird and creeping everybody out. So you just stay down there out the way, Auntie. Yeah, best place for you. Scalping, the teens making thousands selling consoles online. This one made me piss myself laughing because look at the fucking state of these kids today. It says £1,000 worth of Pokemon cards, 2 PS5s and 100 pairs of designer trainers. That's just what 18-year-old Jake, not his real name, has lying around in his bedroom. He's part of a growing number of scalpers, people using online bots to buy and sell in-demand items. It's led to politicians and gamers to call for a law to ban their use. Well, we have to pay attention to what these guys say. These fuckers, not so much. What is scalping? Well, I think we can all assume that they weren't talking about having your head stabbed at with a ceremonial blade by an enraged Native American warrior, right? I think we can guess what scalping is. It's when they use bots to buy shit, massive quantities, and sell them at a profit. Jake said he doesn't know how much money he's made, but the numbers are big. He said, I don't keep track. Maybe 10 grand since November. Something he's been doing for years. Now he's graduated to selling more profitable items. At the start, when stock was limited, you could easily sell a PS5 for 800 quid. Double the recommended retail price. It's one of the reasons many gamers haven't been able to get their hands on new consoles. This is the bit that made me laugh, right? Here he is, this pasty shut-in. Pull those curtains ever closer, boys. The new PS5's arrived. I'm not scornful of gamers, by the way. I'm just taking the piss. I do actually play. I played Warhammer 2 Total War for about 150 hours before I got bored of it. I do sometimes play video games. However, this next bit, I do not do. Ryan is one of them. The 26-year-old dad from Cambridge. Spend some more time with your kids, Ryan. Maybe try that. Just letting you know, if you don't want the little twat to think you're a burglar, the next time you finish your fucking 2-week binge on World of Warcraft, spend a bit more time with him, yeah? Instead of melting down because you can't get a gaming system. He said he's been trying to get his hands on a new PlayStation, but says the whole experience has been stressful, frustrating, and painful. Painful, stressful, frustrating, I'll give you. It's probably frustrating. But fucking stressful and painful. Unless as you were queuing online, you know, spamming the refresh button, you like scratched your knackers and then as you pulled your fly up, almost lopped your bell end off with the zip. It can't be painful trying to buy a PS5 online. It's physically impossible. Also stressful. No, investment bankers deal with stress, yeah? Soldiers deployed deal with stress. Sitting at home spamming refresh doesn't count as stress. Go for a walk, go and hang out with the kids. Don't come here and whinge to me about being frustrated, stressed and in pain because you can't buy a PS5, you sad bastard. Christina's a bit more logical, look. It's pretty frustrating. There you go. Yeah, well done, Christina, for accurately categorising this event. Pretty frustrating. Definitely not painful. Definitely not painful and stressful. Ryan, go for a walk, son. Go for a walk, Ryan. God gave you those legs for a reason. Use them, fella. Do yourself and the lad a favour. Let's end on an upbeat note. COVID, when can pubs and restaurants reopen? Huzzah! When? Tell us. He look loving life, getting pissed with his Springer. Whoa, don't drink the Springer's pint, you cheeky twat. Look, the Springer's sitting there going, that was my pint, you necky bastard. He's obviously just snatched the Springer's pint. He's going to finish that and then he's having his own. No need for that, is there? Pubs and restaurants remain closed for all but takeaways. When will the hospitality rules change across the UK? Restaurants and pubs will be allowed to serve customers from the 12th of April. Get in. What's that? Less than a fortnight. We'll all be off to Leatherspoons to get mortal drunk. Talk about the good old days and then donkey one into some filthy divorcee who hasn't been anywhere near a cock in at least 12 months because we've all been locked inside. Get in, lads, enjoy yourselves. It's going to be fucking marvellous. Whoa, hang on. What's this? Restrictions have changed since pubs were last open. No. Oh no, more good news. There won't be a 10 o'clock curfew and you don't have to have a substantial meal. Champo! No more rule of 6. Oh, winning. You have to wear a mask when you go for a piss. Hey, I can deal with that. I know some of you guys are just stubborn, but for me, I want to go to the pub. I am champing at the bit. I'll wear stockings and suspenders to go for a piss. Thank you very much. I'll wear a mask, a Labour rosette, and high heels. If you want me to do that to go to the fucking pub. Whatever you like, lads. Whatever you like. Other important dates are 17th of May, hospitality venues can see customers indoors. And 21st of June, all restrictions will hopefully be lifted. Thank fuck. Will I need a vaccine passport? No. no. Boris didn't have the balls to call it like he wanted to. He's not that much of a twat. He's going to put it leave it down to individual pubs, and the pubs don't fucking care because most people aren't freaks, hyper-paranoid, knobheads who cater towards the illest, fattest, sickest people in society. You don't often see 87-year-old cancer patients wheeling themselves around Weatherspoons, so I think it's safe to say the pubs will be just fine, thanks. Yeah, most people in a pub under about 60. So we'll just crack on, thanks. You authoritarian, ceaselessly paranoid, what the fuck is a risk assessment, set it on fire and just pull plans out of our arse. Idiots. We're done. Things will go back to normal. What about Scotland? Scotland can go back to normal, and hopefully Glasgow will be just as I remember it, full of shambling, ruddy-faced alcoholics and ugly women. Yep, Glasgow, quality. Back to normal for everyone. Great news to end on. Thanks for listening, everybody. And I was, of course, only taking the piss, Glasgow. Don't send me any death threats. I mean, unlike your average Twitter user, I'm not going to respond to death threats with anything other than sharp comments and amusement, but don't bother yourselves. I was only kidding. Thanks for watching, everybody. I'll be back very soon. Hope you enjoyed this long weekend. I'm dropping the spews early because I've got shit to do. Yeah, you're welcome. Check out Subscribestar, like, share, have a look on Ko-Fi, all of the usual business. And yes, I'll see you all very soon. Cheers.